guys, and welcome to the Eagle Report for a game, last game of the season against Geelong. We could possibly knock Geelong outside of the top four. But yeah, down at GMHBA, it's always going to be a tough game. We've got Rhett Bazza in. We haven't seen him all season. It'll be interesting to watch him play. Clay Hall, he obviously played well against Gold Coast a couple of weeks ago. Cam Winchester, I think he deserves to be in. Marek and Hutchinson all played well, and out, so a bit more of the experienced players, and True along with that. Witherden, McGovern, Gaff, Ryan and True are out. But for them, I mixed up Zach Tui. So, Tui, Buse and Tanner Bruin in, and Mullen, I feel like I'm not going to try and pronounce that, and Gary on out. Zach Guthrie's 100th game. It feels like it's come around pretty quick, to be honest. I still feel like he's a young player. But, they are a very good team. And I feel like last week, even though I didn't watch the game against Carlton, I knew that, the second it hit the ground inside defensive 50, you could tell Carlton were all over it. And that could be the problem here as well. If you just look at their forward line, the amount of small forwards they have there. Well, they do have a few good key forwards as well, Neil and Cameron, but they've got Stengel, Henry, Close, even maybe Humphreys, even though he's playing off that half-back line, he can still be dangerous inside forward 50. Dangerfield, when it hits the deck, he's always there. Myers. Gary Rowan, if he gets subbed on, is an emergency. It's going to be really tough. The only way I see us winning this game is if it turns into a scrappy affair and it's low scoring. And if, it's very cagey, because then I feel like we can... It might only be a 2-goal swing and we might be back into it. Or a game like that where it's low scoring, and that's kind of what I want to say. I want to see effort, because it is our last game of the season. And there's no point in, just laying down. Matt Flynn is emergency. I think we just need to be really cautious in defence, especially with the lack of Witherden and McGovern there. Edwards and Hoff are going to have to step up. Bazo's going to have to play really well. Duggan always plays well. Cole has to step up. Jimby has to play like he usually does. And yeah, we need to be good users of the ball as well, because I feel like that was the difference between us and Carlton last week. Petruccelli, he needs to have a big game. Massive game. We could knock Geelong out of the top four. That'd be handy for the Dogs or Brisbane, or whoever wants to capitalise on that. Carlton, Hawthorn, probably be most handy for Brisbane. But yeah, this is the ladder as it stands. I went through this in my post-match report of the Eagles game, but I think Sydney, Port, Giants and Geelong all make the four. I think the Dogs follow the spot just because they're playing GWS. But I actually had Dogs winning that game, so I had GWS finishing 4th and Geelong finishing 3rd. I had the Bulldogs in the same spot then. And then I have it the same as all that, same as it is now, as the last, apart from Geelong and GWS have switched around, which would be interesting to see. That's why I want the Dogs to win, because it would be so interesting to see a Sydney versus Geelong qualifying final. A Sydney versus GWS qualifying final. That'd be it'd be really good. And then we get a kind of a replay from a few years ago of Port versus Cats qualifying. It might have even been a Purilium, the one where Dangerfield absolutely teared it up, and I think the Geelong might have won. I'm not sure, but I remember it being a close game. I don't see a way for them to make the 8. Even if they do beat Port, the best case scenario for Freo is the dogs falling out of the 8, in which case Freo beat Port Adelaide. And what was I going to say? And the Dogs lost to GWS. And it's a massive game for Port, as big as it is for Freo, because a home qualifying final can mean so much. Can be the difference between making and granny and going out in straight sets. The Pies are probably out of it. This has been one of the best seasons though for footy. Like, you've had so many good stories. Like, Port, Ken Hinkley was on the verge of being sacked. They've risen. GWS had a slow start, but after last season they've been so good. We're building off last season. Geelong, after a poor season last season, have come back and shown that they can still, the premiership window is still open after their 2022 premiership. Brizzy showing that they're not going to lay down after a grand final loss and a poor start to the season. I think they lost their first 3 or 4 or maybe even 5. Dogs showing that with the squad they have, they can still they've been playing so poorly, especially in recent times, that Luke Beveridge's been able to kind of get him together and get him playing well, especially against top 8 sides. Hawthorn, Sam Mitchell's been able to just, they had such a slow start, but they've come back firing in the second half of the season. Carlton have kind of slipped off. They've played so well, but they've just lost their grip on things. I'd say Carlton's story was definitely last year. They were 16th at round 12 or 13, and a big win against the Suns at the G, and they turned it around from there. Freo have been up and down all season. Pies have underperformed after a premiership, similar to what we saw with Geelong last year. Essendon was in such a good position. The interesting thing about Essendon, right, is apart from West Coast, they've played the least games against top 8 teams, meaning they've probably had an easier fixture than compared to teams like Port Adelaide, GWS and Geelong and Sydney. I think they've played one less game against top 8 teams than Sydney, but you get my point. They've had the easiest fixture in the AFL bar West Coast, and they're still performing really poorly. Even considering the start that has the season, days of the window's kind of closing now after that 2021 premiership win. Saints couldn't back up the good kind of season they had last year. And Gold Coast, I think they might get their most amount of wins if they win this week against Richmond ever, but they won't get the highest position unless maybe they might finish 12th. I don't know if that's the highest position ever in the AFL. Crows poor season, West Coast improvement, North Melbourne improvement as well, Richmond poor season. That's all I have to say. Thank you guys for listening to the Eagle Report, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.